a big piece of that, and this was, trial and error figuring that out, is we actually had, we have play before eat. And we actually we're serving, at the end of last year, we're serving 200 students total, 200 people total, including some of the adults that are involved in the program as well, and a couple teachers. So what we went to was, we actually had, first off, we had an early entry option. So students didn't have to come in a little bit early, but they could come in 50 minutes early. We kind of told them, if you like a little bit more time to eat, you want to come in and kind of socialize, you're encouraged to do that. There was often a line of kids chanting at the door, ready to come in. And then when the actual bell came in and they had to eat, then we got a kind of a second flow. And I think that helped manage those numbers over a period of time. A big one, actually, just very practically and logistically, was, we have a two-sided salad bar to very strategically set it up in a way that the same thing is on both sides. So I think that usually meant we had about 7 different things that matched, right? So if you're gonna have, greens, carrots, apples, that same thing is going down both sides of the salad bar, so you're not having kids have to kind of come back and forth. And then things like, it means whether they're other smaller items or things like seeds or dressings, those be down the middle or at the very end. And there was always an adult standing at the end of the salad bar, partially to be able to supervise, making sure kids are, from a food safety perspective, are not touching anything but the tongs themselves, but also to be able to help. We did grade 2 to 7 were eating as part of the program. So height and dexterity generally worked, but sometimes they would need a little bit of help. That being said, some of the kids who were subsidized, we did have some kindergarten and grade 1s involved in the program as well. And we always had enough, usually parent volunteers. There's sometimes students would actually be serving a hot entree, more likely help some of the younger students if they needed it. Or there'd be occasionally kids who didn't have any lunch, so we would always provide for them. So being allowed them to do that. And then we always had salad bar before entree, partially from, just getting kids to encourage them to make sure they're taking and trying new things from the salad bar, and then kind of having that as a bit of a carrot, pun intended, before the entree. And then there was always, myself was floating around, and Chef TJ, our main chef in residence, where we were kind of always floating around encouraging kids to, line up calmly, but also try new things and just make it exciting for them. And I think that worked well. We actually always had, even though we had, getting 200 kids through is no small feat. We, knock on wood, hoping going into the future, we never had any behavior issues in the lineup, even though we had quite massive lines. And actually one of our associate superintendents from the school board came down and said, I've never seen kids line up like this. Like, what is it, right? So I think logistically that worked well. I think also a thing that worked for us in terms of having that flow of the salad bar was, it was also the room that we ate in was a multi-purpose room that is actually also my classroom. So that is already an educational space for them. I can use my weekly time with each class to kind of build expectations. And I think that was a big part, especially for the younger kids. Maybe, lunchtime can often be a little bit, wild if they're not in their normal eating environment, but because it's not their classroom, but it's my classroom. So that was at least a familiar space to them. And I think that that also helped us in terms of just flow and getting kids going.